John was working in his science lab, got blasted by gamma rays. Now he's smashed trivia, John, always smashing. He's friends with Ruffalo, crushing on Maslany, and also Sydney Sweeney. John's here saying, hello, my gamma friends. Welcome to the show, the Gamma Analysis Podcast.
Smash.
Hello, my Gamma fans and friends. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia. I'll be the one with the big old green head in the profile picture. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and also do random other geeky films. Hope you enjoy Smash Trivia Presents the Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening if they can please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now let's smash right into this episode. Today we're reviewing Shrek 2 with my friend Super Marcey from the various podcasts on the Super Network. How are you doing, Marcy?
Thank you. Doing well. Excited to talk about Shrek 2.
Oh yeah, this I love this film. I'm honestly someone who loves the entire Shrek franchise. Even the ones that people aren't big on, like like I'm pretty sure at the very least most people don't like the last one that they've made in 2011. But I love all of these films. I also love the Puss in Boots films as well.
Yeah, I do enjoy the Shrek films. 2 would be my absolute favorite. I do still need to watch the last Puss in Boots film. I still need to see that. I'm very excited.
I highly recommend checking it out because it is really good. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think with these films, like I think there are two parts of what makes them as good as they are. One, the way that they're able to so perfectly mix humor and references and then the other thing is simply how perfect of a relationship Shrek and Fiona have.
Yeah.
It's crazy to say because these are parody films, but I would honestly say Shrek and Fiona might be one of the best couples in the history of cinema.
I agree. I think you get that relationship of them meeting and everything with the first film. And what I like when we head to this one is that they've gotten married. So it's how the relationship can progress with the new dynamic. And I think it was very clever that the first film we see how they meet and how they fall in love, and what the twist ends up being that Fiona is actually an ogre like Shrek. And we see how that further affects them in this film, in Shrek 2, but it also gives us more world building with the fairy tale land, new characters, and it expands upon things, but it does it in a very meaningful way. And as you said, with the parodies and jokes, it works into the overall story really well, and it doesn't take away from that. So you get funny gags, but it's still part of what it is. It doesn't take you out of it, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
like all of the modern things that are in these films, but they're translated into being from a medieval time is so cool. And I love the way that they do all of them. And the fact that they like didn't just make them be background gags, like like because of the fact that we have like the scene where not where Mongo tries to get Eyes to drink ink from the Starbucks cup. Like I love that they actually used those background things as to make it actual like I guess front ground joke.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's
Things
cool.
like that, they really fit in. And it to me, it's crazy to think that I first saw this film when it came out almost 21 years ago and absolutely loving it
Mm.
so much. But there were little gags from 2004 with um at the time Cameron Diaz was dating Justin Timberlake, and there's a reference to that with Sir Justin in her childhood bedroom. So they fit things in
Oh,
like
yeah,
that
so
that
great.
just go with it. I can't
Yeah.
believe this film is 21 years old
Mm.
this year.
Oh yeah. I love how with these films, every time you watch it, you're going to notice something new, because of how many references they just absolutely chock full of it, in it. But
Yeah. I definitely, the more I watch it, the more I pick up on
oh
things,
yeah,
or I might have forgotten something was there. Like
oh yeah,
it's later on in the film and they do like a cops parody
oh
when
yeah.
they like arrest Shrek and Donkey.
Well, it's not just a cops parody. It's literally a parody of the chase ace for or OJ Simpson.
Yes, they add that in there as well.
It's wild. Yeah, I love it.
It's so good. And another thing that I really like loved with this, and again, why haven't I seen the latest Puss in Boots film? Because I absolutely adored Puss in Boots,
Oh yeah,
voiced by Antonio Banderas. The second we get Puss in Boots, I loved Puss in Boots, and the
yeah.
dynamic that it adds to Shrek and Donkey works really, really well.
Oh yeah. I think my favorite moment with Puss in Boots in this film is when Donkey falls asleep and he's like, we should shave him. I'm like, yes. Oh, I love
He's a cheeky cat.
it.
And I love the adorable cute face for distraction. It's like, yes, that would work on me. I would feel very sorry for you, Puss in Boots.
Oh man, I remember. So when I was younger, I remember there was one time that where I was marathoning watching the Shrek movies. I had seen them before, but I was doing it again, and I had picked up on how they mentioned Pinocchio wears women's underpants. I and that is now one of my favorite jokes from the film, just because of how much it angered my dad. My dad banned me from watching the Shrek films because I had as a kid started running around the house singing Pinocchio wears women's underpants.
It has like the we like a gag like that to make him lie so they can use his nose to help them escape.
Mhm.
It's funny in itself, but they add something like, oh, he might be embarrassed about this. But what I love, and we get this as well with the wolf, is that they're all just accepting of it.
Oh yeah,
Like the wolf, I guess back then we would have said cross dressing. And they don't care. That's just who they are. And
like
that's such
the
a
only
beautiful
people who
message
the only
we
people
get
who
in it.
care
Yeah.
are the villains.
Exactly.
Uh,
When fairy godmother makes mention of it. But
mhm.
that's what I love about these films. It's just we accept everyone for who they are.
And
And Shrek and Donkey learned that through transforming to be, I think Donkey's like, we're sexy.
yeah. Oh man. Which it makes me wonder, since there is gonna be a Shrek 5 coming. I kind of wonder if they will confirm any characters to be trans or something like that.
You could
Like that
see
would be
that
really
in this
cool if they did.
universe. Yeah, you could see that because it's all about that accepting for who you are, but it's not just you accepting yourself, it's everybody around them. And I mean, we get that lesson from the king because he's been keeping a secret. So I
Yeah.
don't think we're that far off having that representation
Oh yeah.
because I'm not saying it's the same thing. Someone that's trans is a frog in disguise or something, but it's the thing of not, or sort of being, I don't want to use crappy terms, but the in the closet, so
Mhm.
to speak, of
Yeah.
um shielding who you really are
Yeah.
and then accepting it. And then, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I mean. So it's
Mhm.
not very far off, I think, that
Oh yeah, and I
it would fit.
absolutely feel like Mike Myers is someone who, and also Eddie Murphy. I feel like they're people who, with them coming back to the franchise, they would be very happy to um confirm things like this and give us that representation. And I think the idea of getting that more representation inside that would be a legacy sequel could be a
Mm.
very powerful statement.
Yeah. And I think, again, like going back to how I mean, I just more specifically with this film because it's more fresh in my mind as well. I
Mm.
actually now want to sit and watch all of them in a
Oh yeah.
marathon. Um, with like being who you are, and it does open up to give all sorts of representation, but because we have the drama with the comedy, it can be something fun and very easily accessible, and it
Oh yeah.
doesn't need to be something that is seen as pandering or something
Mhm.
like that. It very naturally, I think, fits
Mhm.
into the Shrek universe.
Definitely.
But yeah, I was gonna say, like, one of the things I wanted to talk about with Shrek 2 is, in my opinion anyway, I think it is one of it's got to be in the top 5 for best sequels or best number 2 of a film, because it does something that I think is very difficult. It's to continue what you have, but elevate it and not disrespect what you have, but expand upon
Mhm.
it. And I think it's one of the very best to do
Oh
that. And
yeah.
it
I would
just it remains one of my favorites. It
I would
really
definitely
does.
agree. I agree with that. And I think there's one really big thing with this that I think makes it hold up better than the first one, and that is particularly the animation. The
Mm,
animation feels so much better than what with the first one. Like I remember, like a few years ago, because I did an episode of on the first one on my podcast.
mm,
As I remember going back to that and being like, this animation is not as good as I remember it being. But going back to this one, it looks perfect. The animation looks perfect even still today.
I agree. It looks really good. I think just even in the few years between one and two, I think there was more advances with
Hmm.
computer animation, but it sort of hit just a really good like level in sort of the early to mid 2000s, and a lot of like good animation from that time does stand up, but I think DreamWorks really nailed it
Oh yeah.
really well. I think the other one that I think stands out as still looking really good, I think, are the first couple of Ice Age films. I
Mm.
think they um,
I
still
think
remain quite visually
I
really
think the
cool.
first one doesn't hold up terribly well from what I remember, but I think the rest of them are
Mm.
pretty decent.
I remember,
I've
yeah, Ice Age 2.
I've seen some like clips in recent years from the first film, and it does not look great, especially that baby.
The human characters don't look as great as the animals. The
Oh yeah.
animals in that have great designs.
Oh
And
yeah.
speaking of designs, like the designs in this as well are really good. Like human Shrek, it's kind of what you'd picture him to be.
Yeah.
And like stallion donkey.
Yeah. Speaking of like creatures the characters are starting to oh so since and it's obviously Donkey took this ocean as well, and they said that
Mm.
it affects both the people who are in the couple. Do you think the dragon changed at all at some point?
Yeah. I actually was thinking about that watching it. I'm like, oh, so would Dragon have changed, and what would
Yeah.
Dragon have changed to? Because Dragon is a pretty, like, really pretty, yeah, it's a
Oh
pretty
yeah.
dragon. Dragon's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
how could you make Dragon prettier?
yeah, I'm very much worried about that. And then also, so we find out that that Fiona's dad, the king, is a frog. And this is just a theory of mine, but is Fiona's curse actually that she turns into a frog person and not an ogre?
Yeah, I think maybe if, like, because he was a frog and maybe the frog mating with a human made an
Yeah,
ogre.
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
Is
is
it?
I'm like, is she actually like part frog and not part not is and there's not actually it's not. They just
Yeah,
think
is
she
it
looks like an ogre.
yeah, is it part of the frog, or is that just how ogres are created? So maybe
Yeah, I
Shrek's
don't
parents
know.
were a frog and a human. I don't know.
That
They're
reminds me
fun
of
little things to think about, though.
the idea of a frog made with someone created a popular character reminds me of how canonically within the Muppets Yoda is the child of Kermit and Miss Piggy.
I mean, that could work. It's like it is kind of like that. She's maybe she's half Yoda species.
Oh man.
But I think like having the king be a frog is a funny play on the princess and the frog
Oh yeah.
story. So I like how they add like all the fairy tales in there, but you
And
get little funny
and
gags like Sleeping Beauty. Well, she's got sleep paralysis. Boom.
and like they include fairy tales that aren't as like popularized as at the time. Like I'm like I don't not like not to say it wasn't something people like read or talked about out and when this came out, but like Princess and the Frog, I think got a lot more popular when the movie came out,
Yeah.
and he came out, but and this came out before that, which is it's just cool. And then you also have like a fairy tale I've never seen, but I know someone who loves this fairy tale of Thumbelina. Yeah, and I
Mm,
don't think Thumbelina is like a massively popular fairy tale, and but they particularly chose to reference her in this.
yeah. It's interesting you bring that one up because when I was a young lady, a younger me in the 80s. A lot of the more not well-known fairy tales were ones that I had in like older books and stuff. And there might have been some cheap like animated movie that I would have seen, but then I don't really remember anything mentioning like Thumbelina all that much. And then something like Shrek 2 will reference ones that you
Mm-hmm.
don't think about too much, like the Three Blind Mice nursery rhyme or something like that. So they
Oh yeah.
include like all sorts of things, which is really cool. And it might, you know, someone might see, oh, Thumbelina, maybe I'll check that out or something.
Yeah, definitely, and definitely. One thing I was thinking about with while watching this is how Donkey's going to be getting a spin-off film, which I'm really wondering what they're going to do with that because I feel like he's not a character who they could do a spin-off film where it feels like either the Shrek movies or the Puss in Boots movies in the way of
Mm.
like how those are adventure films. I kind of feel like for Donkey's spin-off movie, they need to make it just be like a day in the life where it's like about it's like really delving deep into him and Dragon's relationship.
Yeah, we could have like a sort of how their relationship is, how the kids are, something different. But I think with Donkey is a great like supporting character.
Mm-hmm.
So with what they do with a spin-off, I think like he'll need a good like supporting cast of
Yeah,
characters.
absolutely.
And like I think that's how, but whereas you can see Puss in Boots easily being able to lead um
Mm-hmm.
its own film. I think Donkey is that supporting player, so you need
Yeah,
others around Donkey because the Donkey dynamic is playing off others,
yeah,
which is something
absolutely,
Eddie Murphy does very well.
absolutely. And like I feel like that's kind of like a little bit of where I'm coming from. Being like, I don't think it would work so much for his character being the lead of an adventure
Yeah,
versus like if you do something wildly different from everything else in this universe of making it be a day in life where you just like explore the relationship with between him and Dragon and maybe like have it be that um their kids have grown up and they're leaving the nest and like
yeah,
have like I feel like that's I feel like the best way you could do it so that it would work kind of him being the lead and they're
yeah,
kind of him and Dragon are kind of like co-leads is in a way but and we have like their neighbors is tough and stuff be
yeah.
a the sporting cast. Though I don't know whether they would have neighbors since they live in a castle, but
They
yeah.
might have like Nate. I think they could do something fun with that.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, for like Donkey leading an adventure film, yeah, it
Just
wouldn't
doesn't feel
fit. Like,
right.
yeah, something like this where you could like be get stuff with Dragon and the kids, and if the kids are leaving, you could see the dynamics if they're being
Uh-huh.
overbearing parents. There's a lot of, I
Which
think,
I think the
like
donkey
family
would
comedy.
I think
Yeah.
Donkey would absolutely be an overbearing parent. He would
Yes,
be he would
Donkey.
not want to let them leave
I
at
feel like
all.
Donkey would follow them to like if they were off to school or something and just interfere. Like something like that would be really, really good.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That would be really fun. I like that idea.
Uh, um, trying to think. What else about this out of Shrek 2 do I want to talk about?
Oh, do we talk about Fairy Godmother as a
Yes.
villain character?
Yeah, that was I was definitely a cool choice. I think that they did her character was so well done, done as well. The now the I think that I think it's absolutely hilarious how like we have this scene where they're threatening the king in the inside the chariot, and it's like you're making me do something I don't want to do, and then it's just they're at a drive-through.
Yeah, they're at the drive-through and the prince is like, Charming's like, I want the kids meal, or whatever, and he gets the
Which poor Charming, he asked for the kids meal. Most likely that means he wanted the toy, and
he wanted the toy.
and then she just gives the toy to the king.
Rude. But I think the casting they did really well with Fairy Godmother and Charming. But I like that again. It flips the script, and a fairy godmother is usually a good character who helps the main characters, and in this, no, she's the villain, and she's a meanie, but she's so entertaining. She does
Absolutely.
it.
I
It's
like how
very good.
I like how in her little song and dance when we first see her, she just summoned some random guy named Kyle. Like, what was the point of Kyle? Like she's trying to wow Fiona, be like, oh, this is like the life you could have or something. I think, but but if she wants him or to be with Prince Charming, why would you bring another handsome guy into the scenario?
Exactly. Why are you giving her too many options now? It needs to just be Charming. That was her plan. But I get the musical numbers are really good. They
Oh yeah.
have some good songs. I love Fairy Godmother's holding out for a hero
Oh yeah.
number. It's great.
My favorite though, I think, is right after that of Puss in Boots and Donkey doing a song together.
Yes.
That was so cool.
It's so cute. It just makes you feel so happy.
Yeah, like just the thought that that is a duet between Eddie Murphy and Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
Like that feels like something that nowhere else could that ever happen. I love that that happened.
Exactly. It could only happen in a Shrek film. And it is glorious.
Oh
This
yeah.
movie just makes me happy every time I watch it. It
Oh yeah.
it just it's one of those. It just brings me joy.
One
It's just
thing
so well done.
I was thinking about with the fairy godmother is since it's been so long since I've watched the rest of the franchise, it is she dead or does she come back? What's going on? Because I feel like like this isn't really a franchise where well actually yeah it is. And I was thinking like this doesn't feel like place where she would have died, but then again, Lord Farquaad got swallowed by a dragon, so like,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
it could
like
be
I don't
maybe they're
know,
planning like
like
the
I could.
villains coming back for Shrek 5. Who knows?
Like
But
I could absolutely see her trying to get her revenge or something in another film.
I'd actually like to see that.
But I honestly don't remember like the third and fourth films enough to be to
Mm.
say whether she like appeared in them or not.
It's been a little while. That's why I kind of want to like rewatch them all and
Yeah.
then get to obviously the last Puss in Boots movie as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah, like I'm it's the slope going slowly because it's been like a year and a half since I reviewed the first Shrek film, but like when I did that when I was like I want to try and make sure I review all of these films before the new one comes out.
Yeah.
I think that'll be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah.
am curious to see what a fifth film
Oh
would
yeah.
be like. Yeah, but with two being my favorite, I hope it's got like the spirit
Oh
of
yeah.
two. Because I think like from start to finish, it's just so well done. Like
Mhm.
as much as I love it, I'm almost sad it's ending every time I
Yeah,
watch it.
absolutely.
Could have watched 3 more hours of Shrek 2
Yeah.
for real.
I I seem to remember hearing that one of the directors of the new one is going to be like the same as like number either the first one or second one or something. I may be wrong, but I see. Which if it is like that will definitely help to get it to feel like alien like
Yeah.
yeah. So let's see. There's two directors. There's one of the directors actually apparently he did acting. They one of the directors is playing plays the gingerbread man in these films.
Oh, I did not
That's cool.
realize that. Now that you've said it, yes. That's Conrad Vernon
That's
as
really
it
cool.
does gingerbread
Yeah,
man.
so the one of the directors at least is also the director from Shrek 2, which is really cool.
Yeah, I guess we'll see
So
for
hopefully
future
that means
Shrek.
that he's
But
gonna be the film's gonna be more like Shrek 2.
now, do we ask because they're green, would Shrek and Fiona hang out with the Hulk cousins? Would they be friends?
I feel like they probably
I
would
think
so.
so. They could get angry together and fight crime together.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, I feel like Fiona and Jen would probably get would be more friendly towards each other versus I don't think Shrek and Bruce would probably be big fans of each other. They'd probably try to fight each other.
They probably have a friendly rivalry, whereas I think, yeah, Jen and Fiona would absolutely
I
be
think
friends.
what would happen is Shrek would try to use his ogre roar and to try and scare Hulk, and it would do nothing, and then Hulk would roar back, and Shrek would almost turn the donkey of how scared he is.
Yeah, I'm picturing that in my head, and it's accurate.
He's like, "Oh, I'm not the big person anymore." Okay.
And fun things to think about though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Are there any last things you'd like to talk about this film?
I think I had in my head what I wanted to discuss, and I think we've actually like hit all those notes.
Mm,
Yeah, I think like if I had to say anything in closing, again, Shrek 2, one of the best sequels ever
mm.
made. They just got like this perfect voice cast, and as we mentioned, the animation is so good, and the comedy and the drama and the references and the parody and satire, it fits well, and it
Oh yeah.
doesn't take away from anything. And
Mm.
with that sort of core message about accepting who you are, loving who you are, and those around you doing the same, I think it's absolutely beautiful.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
Really
definitely.
is. It's a wonderful film. I actually just feel like rewatching it again.
Oh yeah, nice. Nice. Well, oh, that's really everything I have to say as well. So, just any final words you'd like to say as I end this off?
Yeah, if any I usually sign off with if anyone wants to find me or my podcasts at the Super Network, easiest place to go to is supermarcey.com, and that is spelt SuperMarcey. I understand my accent can be funny at times, so I try to pronunciate a little better.
Yeah, I think your accent's
And
fine. I don't know
and thank
why
you
there'd be a
for
problem with
having
it.
me back on your show as well.
Thank you for coming on. It's always a fun
Absolutely
time talking to
a
you.
pleasure. And hopefully, in the not too distant future, you will join Bede and I on the Super Network for a podcast.
Oh yeah, hopefully soon. So that'll be exciting. All right.
Can't wait.
Everyone, and thank you for listening. If you like this game analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the episodes. Please let me know. If you'd like to listen to more from me, please subscribe. Many more game analysis from me coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Smash John, signing off.